Oh shit! I just doxed myself again, motherfucker.
Hey, it
I'm
wouldn't
being
be
right
a
on here.
6-month anniversary stream. You didn't.
Halfway through,
That's-
yeah,
May
doxed
the
myself
peace of the
twice
Lord be
Dang
with
in
you.
the same stream.
Give me an airstrike.
The first one was not my fault. That was Epic Games, but
Ooh, epic.
I'm trying to get to my
I blame
YouTube
Gibbon.
studio. Blame
How
Gibbon.
fucking my fault?
Understandable.
I blame Gibbon.
I'm already on my second glass of moonshine, Jay. I don't need this bullshit.
Moonshine. Get
Yeah.
the banjo
We're
out.
drinking, yeah. I'm drinking wine. He's drinking
Right.
moonshine.
Hey, Jay, you should
Man,
join
I
us in
would-
drinking on the road.
Yeah, I need a road soda. Uh, usually when I crack one open, even if it's just like a sip, I'm done for the day.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm not a lightweight by
took
any
the
means.
entire-
I can handle it,
Ooh, Drew spot.
but you know, I can definitely drive,
Oh my God.
but I choose not to. So it's a logic my dad instilled in me. Just never. If you're gonna crack one open, then you're obviously not going anywhere anytime soon.
Right? That's a good
Yeah.
principle.
Don't drink and drive, kids.
Keep you alive.
Oh yeah, life lesson. What is
know.
it like? I don't even know what the rhyme is anymore for it.
It
There's
did
a
its
rhyme.
job.
There used to be a rhyme for it. It was an old DUI commercial over in Oregon. It was like they made it like it was just kind of it was like over surreal. Like you think it was like an actual
Mhm.
like rated R action movie because like it was a guy that like was like driving and all of a sudden like he ran into a semi truck and then like it does like the 1,000 Ways to Die like where it's like shows him like in X-ray mode and like,
Shit.
all that gross stuff. But yeah, and then and it was like it's like don't drink and drive, you may survive. And it's like oh, I mean, all the drunk drivers I've heard about survived. It's usually the people they hit don't.
Right.
Yo, really quick, guys. What's going on right now? You guys on Gardafolk or you guys on Minecraft?
We are
just
we
finished
are
Minecraft.
on the
He's in
discussion
his-
segment.
He's in his discussion
Talking about
segment. We're
drunk
playing
driving.
We're in
Gartic.
halftime. They're playing Gartic Phone.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I had to hop on yet or what, because I'm in the middle of pool with some buddies.
Okay.
Okay.
Once you're done, we'll probably be almost time for Gartic Phone. But we're
Are
talking
you-
about what
are
you
you-
wanted to talk about when we're done with this half of the discussion.
Are you hitting your balls in some holes, Sentry?
Then
No, I'm actually ass right now. I don't have it tonight.
All right.
Why?
Yeah,
do
it
ever
is,
like
bud.
questions?
All right, I'm not
That's
gonna
pretty-
fifth wheel here. I catch you
Go
later.
lock in.
Catch
Go
you
lock in.
No, I
Okay.
suck.
Win
Alright,
it for
see
us,
yous.
bud.
I think we're good.
Hey, I can
Yeah.
hear the balls.
Oh my
Get some
gosh!
balls in the
I see a
holes,
dog
bro.
that looks like Joe in the car next to me.
Joe.
I'd record it for Sandals, but I don't want the people in the car to see me recording them.
Right. That'd be a little
I'd
bit
be like,
weird.
"This is for my friend." That probably sounds even worse.
It does. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to walk down memory lane just to see like how far we've come. And this is something, I want to stress we've all done together. I am so thankful to all of you for making that happen, for being here this whole way. It's what makes it so fun, unbelievably amazing to be a part of, so fun. So happy to be here. And like, if we go all the way back to the very beginning, which is like 150 VODs ago, 150 streams. We started September 19th of last year. Managed to hit affiliate in under, I think it was in under 3 months. I hit affiliate December 28th. Today is we've been affiliate for 6 months, so it's technically the 7th month anniversary, depending on how you count it, 6th or 7th. But look at just like how this link tree has expanded when I pull this up here. At the very beginning, we had the Jacket Club's Twitch page, and I think we had a YouTube, and that was it. And YouTube was like very finicky. We didn't really have extras yet. We didn't really have Instagram going. And now, we not only have those platforms added, but we've even added new ones recently. We added Facebook, we added TikTok. We're on there now. We obviously found the Tavern, which has been a lot of people. It's crazy to even think of a time before the Tavern. Like there was a whole like month of just like me and Gibbon, just like talking to the wind. That were kind of like the very beginning days before Gibbon met the Tavern crew on Dale and Dawson, which is another blast of the past. Been so long since we played that. But if we go all the way back, the first thing that we have Dale and Dawson, We have very early Minecraft and Overwatch, which Overwatch is a game we haven't even played in like months. Here's Gibbon and I playing Stellaris, as also pre-Tavern, Skyrim at the very beginning. Just thinking how long that was. We did a whole massive party, like an emotional farewell to Skyrim. And it's been like months since we've played that game. We're already very far into Ghost of Tsushima. We're very far into SWTOR. But so much of the channel, like if you go back and you watch that Skyrim series, like there's so much of channel history that you can just see the changes play out. I just want to click on let's click on one of these streams and look at what we had on screen versus what we have now. It was this. Look at the background too. The setup was, a lot of the setup was there. We had the gnome, we had the lights in the background, but that was it. There was only the gnome back there. We had none of this fun Jack stuff I have around my face right now. We didn't have the Bible verse. That was like halfway through. Or more like a third. We start putting up one, and then Hales, the second third, goes and makes this awesome dock that we have now. I still use every day, which enables us to do that. We're struggling our bust our way through some Dale and Dawson.
W's.
If we go a little bit further down the track, let's see, this is already in February here, so we're still like Stellaris, only episode 11 of Skyrim. We had gone through 11 episodes of Skyrim before we got affiliate. Only 11 of like a 20-some part series, which is still like to this day one of the two like biggest things that have happened. And once again, all you guys is hitting affiliate by the time by the end of the first year of us being streaming before we got to New Year's, which was massive for me personally. We talked all about picking myself off the floor, being able to go to celebrations with family and be like, hey, I'm actually like doing something and succeeding at it for the first time since Paris Island. I mean, I had other things, but in this regard. And I couldn't have done that without you guys. We also, around that time, let's see what else was going on around hitting affiliate. Immediately the month after is when we had our crazy month of sponsorship. You guys really came in clutch with HelloFresh. We got $1,000 for the channel in that first month of being affiliate. It's still unmatched to this day. That was incredible. Thank you all so much for that. Let's see, we're at Skyrim episode 18 by the time we get to February. I want to look over here and see. We start on YouTube Extras. We start around October of doing stuff in the Extra channel. That's when Gibbon starts editing the Skyrim videos, which he did. She put so much work into these. They really were a lot of work. I learned that once I picked it back up. It kind of chugged out and died, the editing, just because of how much other stuff I had going on and all the medical stuff. I do plan to get back to that, especially this year. I do have plans for how I'm going to make that happen.
I hope to also help with that, just FYI for everybody.
Okay,
but
heck yeah.
We'll get some more stuff on there.
The principle of the thing is just like we started the Skyrim series. I want to finish it and at least edit it, finish editing those out. We got only through episode 7. But we also got like
No, because it was
episode 7, chapter 1.
Oh, okay. I forgot chapters were okay. Never mind.
Yeah. There were a lot more chapters because that was the other thing that made it so difficult. So you made it into these nice like episodic formats. So there's a lot more episodes. We got Waffle House on here though. One of the tier lists ended up over there. But a lot more is coming there. We already announced that. And the last time, the last Skyrim episode was like February. So since then, we went to Niagara Falls. That's insane. I remember that. Some of you came out for that. We were flying over the falls it was one of our first streams away from computer. I think our first Gibby takeover was a Stormtrooper tier list. That was in March. I still remember that. Still hotly debated. I had to repent of my Stormtrooper S tier over the clones.
Dumb takes. Yeah, I know.
Sentry got sent off around then. That was March that It's crazy that Sentry wasn't here at the beginning. Like, how many people... I wonder when we picked up... Kaylin was here before Sentry, I think. I wonder what the first stream Kaylin was a part of.
When did you get here?
I don't know. My subs just hit 6 months.
Just hit 6 months. Wow.
So she's been here since the beginning.
Been here since, like, the very beginning. Hale's been here as long as we've been in the tavern. Which I think we got into the tavern... Let's see, what was, like, the first tavern thing we did?
It was October.
It was October? Okay. Hales has been here since October. Sentry's been here since like was here from like December through March, and then we lost him for a little while. He showed you how much of an impact Sentry made in just those 3 months. Became so integral to the channel, being here every day. But we send him off in March. Excuse me.
Did some sit-ups for him.
Yes,
I
we did do
miss
some.
Sentry.
Hales made sit-ups happen. Oh, the Fortnite stream where it was just me in a t-shirt in my car and I almost killed myself because I had the car on.
The gas, or yeah.
Almost.
Uh-oh.
Almost there. Oh shit. You can hear me just bumping things around. It's dark for like a whole minute. There's me just like in my house.
That they really want to do that at this point. Power doesn't.
I lost two family members around that time, around that turning of the page of the year.
I tried my best. Not for your family members. I'm so sorry.
You are all good.
Yes.
Let's see.
Wow.
When did
I
we
kinda figured it
finish?
was
When did we
given.
finish Skyrim?
Yeah.
Sentry was gone when we finished Skyrim.
Yeah.
We did Rainbow Six for a
no.
little bit. Skyrim episode 23. 25. Finn. April 8th. That was only April? Wow. It feels like so much has happened since then. There's all the Lent stuff. Like, we got Palm Sunday, Tenebrae. We really hit the discussion segments hard then. They got really intense. And that alone has developed so much. At the beginning, like, the beginning discussions were only a thing during Monday streams. And then they became an every stream thing, but they were at the beginning and reactions at the end. Now we got this great halftime system. So that's, so much. And I've changed so much, become so much more confident in that kind of stuff. Once again, thanks to everyone. Look at this one around when I get glasses down here. You can see that. And we come all the way up to, I think the last thing that we got up here. Okay, we got
Oh no.
Corpus Christi uploaded there. I split that up. So let's check X. If we look over that now, we're now at 80 followers. We're nearly to 100. I remember when we were not at 100 on Twitch. We're even closer to 100 followers on Instagram. 93. And then we got all these other platforms. So we've just come so far. I am so incredibly grateful. And we got a lot of other stuff, great stuff coming up. So that's the next, the next thing I want to talk about is turning the page. Where do we go from here? Where do we go over this period of
Did you
the
save
next
those?
6
Put
months
them
to a
in
year?
reviewable.
So
Put them in club chat.
Oh,
Let's
shit.
see.
Okay.
we've already talked about a lot of stuff so far on stream. I just mentioned Skyrim is one of the next thing on the list. We're going to keep announcing stuff as we go through. We're going to save a few other things for the later parts of the stream. But I reached out to Kobe. He's one of the people I'm working with. Hey, Shredder, great to see you. Welcome to the stream. What was I thinking? So Skyrim's one of the things I wanted to mention. Skyrim's coming back. I also wanted to mention, tied in with Skyrim, that Pity Party is being refurbished as well. A lot of people don't even know that that's back. But next month, for example, the goal, how we're doing is we set a goal for the month. And so if we hit the goal by the end of the month, I have to do something big. And we're going to reintegrate. I took out little things because of the big thing, but we'll have both. I'll do little things during stream and a big at the end. Next month is going to be the month of the painting the nails Star Wars colors. So if you want the lightsaber nails, Pity Parties next month, keep an eye out for them.
Okay.
Be there.
Lightsaber nails.
And we gotta get the Wounded Warrior project up to 50. So I reached out to Kobe. I've been talking to him over this past week, and we have a date set for a phone call. We're gonna keep working. Very grateful to him. He reached out to these, the tavern crew. He's a resource for all of us. He offered to do graphic design stuff. But there's going to be a new logo. You can already see kind of, if you go over to Facebook, that we're kind of gonna switch to just what's in now is kind of like a picture. And then you got a cool background. Jay has a really great one right now. I can pull that up. Or he switched his on Tavern for a minute. He went back to the dog. But I think his Twitch page has it. Where it's just, it's his face and he's got a cool background. So we're going to switch to that. We're going to keep the classic Cub card. That's going to go into our portfolio. It'll stay the background of a lot of things. but we're going to get a new logo there. The other really big thing, speaking of club cards, this is the thing that that Jay was talking about, that I'm most excited about. And it's going to be a year-long project. This is not a 6-month thing because we are making a Jack of Clubs card deck. Like, that is the goal. We're going
That's
to
sick.
yes, we're going to make a Jack of Clubs card deck. And the goal is over the next 12 months, every month I'm going to pick a top club member based on participation and legacy, stuff they've done, and they're going to be integrated into the club suit. And then tavern crew people, so people like Jay, Sandals, who are associated but aren't really part of the club community, like most of the people here in the call are going to be in a different suit of their own. We're still working on which one it's going to be. And then we'll also have one for like popular games we've played, stuff like Skyrim, and then we'll also have a suit for like popular discussion topics, stuff that we've talked about, or tier lists that have really made a splash. And we'll make the first edition. We'll keep updating editions as we go, and hit new milestones. So the first edition, is going to have people like basically everyone in this call is a given for members who are going to be in the first suit. And what we're going to do is that Kobe's going to design first. He's going to design a special like Jack of version of the club card I have right now to be the Jack of Clubs. And then we're going to use that same art style. Every person that gets a card is going to get passed over to Kobe, and they're going to get to design their own card.
Suit.
So Hales will get her own card in the clubs. Gibbon's going to get his own card in the
I don't need
clubs.
my own card. It's okay.
You're going to get your own card.
Not
Kaylin's
when
gonna get her own card.
Smash or pass suit.
Smash or pass suit? Oh no. One of the suits will have the tier list, so
The
we
third
could make
edition of the deck of cards.
it's all a smash or pass.
It's all
It's
the
just-
tier lists.
It's all Jack feet picks, and you have to smash or pass.
Pass.
Pass, Caitlin
Have
says.
some rotten feet.
No, I take very good
20
care.
bucks.
I am
Slander.
so $20 for the. All right. I guess it's gonna be on the
No, I mean,
store.
You seem to
Um,
think you have great feet.
Slander.
What's up?
When like it is a thing that like I will wash my feet throughout the day. I'm a very very much a feet hygiene kind of guy. Like I will
so.
wash my feet. I
You
wear
hold them.
sandals everywhere. Look, all right.
He got feet up in my fucking
It was
face when he's
it
over
was
here, dude.
one time.
I'm
It was
not
a
into
one
that
time.
shit. I'm not into that shit.
You're the
And
one who
you know,
has to
he
go
comes
into the
in-
closet. All right. I remember
Okay,
that.
so there's
That's
gonna be a foot deck. Got it.
Put a
foot
feet
deck.
pick in there,
It was
please.
gonna be a
From
foot
one
calendar,
toe
but
all
now
the way
it's a
to
deck.
10 toes.
I have talked to Jay too.
Federal,
When
you're
he
in-
comes
you're-
back, or we're able to like expand
Whatever.
the store selection, there will be stuff. There will be other clubs merch going around. But within I hope to by the end of the year kind of have put together our first edition of the club card deck. So I'm really excited about that. But there'll also be other art. So like you see the current club card background. Kobe's gonna help me with like expanding a portfolio so that I can. Like we've already seen before on Instagram, I've posted like edits like the one we had today that use that card as kind of an AI thing. So we'll get like different versions of Jack that we can use to make the different things. I made today. I did miss one, but like if you scroll through today's Instagram post, you can see just about every one that we've made, going all the way back to the beginning. But I want to scroll down here too. Like look at all these. I can remember every single one of these. It's talking about the top of stream. This is a great place to look at like how far we've come to, because you get a visual with all of them really quick. Like this is when I was in Nashville. I remember that playing Among Us, like popping in on my laptop. Look at me in Nashville, getting my brains out. I was in Alabama there. So much history. All the way down to beta week at the very beginning. But yeah, so that will be expanded. And then also with that, Kobe's also going to help with the scene selection for the stuff I talked about at the very top of the stream. So when we do quarterly stuff, like the quizzes or the Q&As, there's going to be special transitions and stuff that he's going to help make. So I'm really stoked about all of that. That's going to be really cool. all of that and more is coming up. Let's see if there's anything else. I'll save a few things for later. Let's see. Does anything else go with that? I think that's okay. I'll save the rest of the announcements for later. But there's more coming up too. That is not everything. There's going to be more stuff coming up on social media for you guys to check out. More stuff on Discord. Stuff that we've already kind of glossed over through here that I didn't lean into because I wanted to talk about it later. But stuff I'm very excited about. So just once again, just cheers to all of you. And I'll lift a glass. Thank you all so much for an amazing 6 months and even beyond. We've been, we had those 3 months where we weren't even affiliate yet. Thank you for all that you guys have done, all the contributions we've had to make this awesome program and family that we have here. Thank you to everyone that brought us into the tavern and makes that a thing. And I'm just so happy and grateful and in love with everything here and everyone here. Thank you to God for for all of you. And cheers.
Cheers. I already drank.
Forgot that I was drinking.
All right. Now the second half of the discussion is the stuff I promised Sentry I would talk about. So I'm going to deafen for just a minute while I go through that, just because it's a little bit more of a monologue-y type thing. And then we'll be back. Either, I think Sentry wanted to play Jackbox. I also saw Trent just got onto Rivals. So we'll figure out what we're going to play when we get back. A lot of options. Crusader Kings, probably. Jackbox. And maybe even touching like a Rivals match. We will see when we get back. Yeah, let's get cooking so we can get there. Alright. So, the first thing, a nice introduction to this, get me as I get warmed up, is going to be the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. So let's see if they have anything to pull up. I'm so nervous now. Like now that I've doxed myself twice, I'm like schizophrenic about searching anything. But so the Immaculate Heart of Mary is pretty. After talking about the Sacred Heart yesterday, it's a pretty easy transition, right? So what was that? Hold on. You're making a card game, custom Jack of Cards deck. So just like a normal deck of cards, but custom Jack. Sorry, I missed what was going on in chat. I had Discord covering that. Not the closet. Currently out breaking fast. I hopped off call. I'm confused. Among Us. He wants to do Among Us. What was I thinking? So the Immaculate Heart of Mary is a companion devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's also the devotion now has been expanded to be the 3 hearts, including the entirety of the Holy Family. The third one being the Most Chaste Heart of St. Joseph, which we'll get its own day to talk about. God bless you, Strider. Abel's got you. So the Immaculate Heart of Mary is essentially we're just talking about Our Lady. But as with Jesus, it is a particular veneration of the love that exists within our heart. And especially, we think when we look at, let's see, if we got a particular art of just the heart. Let's see. Here we go. This is one that's more traditional in terms of its depiction. Zomboid or CK3 to end stream. Let's end stream with CK3. We've done a lot of Zomboid recently. And Todd has CK3. He just bought it, so let's do that. And then we'll do, like Among Us or Jackbox next. But if we look at this, so, the particular parts that we're looking at when we talk about this is her purity, her total sinlessness, total commitment to God. Her love for God was absolute. We also have the pierced heart, which is a thing that goes all the way back to the very beginning of the Gospels. When we're talking about Our Lady as someone who, when she goes to present Jesus, to offer him up to the Father for his mission, one of the prophets who prophesies about the life of Christ also prophesies about the life of Mary, saying that she will be there at the end and that a sword will pierce her soul too, so that the secret thoughts of many may be revealed. And we also hear about Our Lady pondering in her heart what the message means when it comes to the greeting of the angel Gabriel. So it talks about her sword being pierced. We also talking about the crucifixion, and about how in this event she will, as Jesus gives her over to St. John at the foot of the cross, will unite her to the sufferings of all humanity until the end of time. She has suffered the worst thing that anyone could suffer, following along, watching Jesus go through everything he went through, and being a mother watching her child have to suffer that. So vote now. There we go. And then so we have the swords in the depiction there, also the flame, obviously her flame of love, or the purity of it. And so first and foremost, really, we don't want to spend too much time on it. Again, we'll probably talk about Mary in depth on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, because that is her patronage of the United States of America. So we can cover a lot there. I'll be doing something special on that day, personally, so it'll be a good day for me to do that. But just to kind of wrap that up, the place where first her heart is mentioned explicitly in the Bible is her pondering in her heart the message of Gabriel. So that's really the biggest takeaway, is as this heart that spends this existence chewing on the Word of God, of contemplating God, not just responding, vainly, or just, thoughtlessly, going through the motions, so on and so forth, but really taking the Word of God not only into her mind, not only into her actions, but into her emotions, and trying to feel the way that God feels, to connect her heart to God, which allows her to have that joy and to have that love, to love as God loves. So that is what we commemorate on this day, Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. We already talked about the Solemnity of St. Peter and Paul. That's what's tomorrow. But on to the main thing. The main thing we wanted to talk about today. And this is at request of Century. It's also because we had the 44th anniversary this past weekend, is Medjugorje. And the reason I thought it'd be a good thing to talk about today is because this is like the core of my personality. This is one of the most fundamental things to understanding me. This is one of the most, and by extension, one of the most important things in understanding how I approach what we do here, and how I approach interacting with other people, and so on and so forth. I said when we talked about it briefly during the anniversary, that will ultimately, of course, the credit for all of my relationship with God, all the good that I have in my life, all the good that I've ever done, is, all credit ultimately goes to God, and the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. It goes to the Church. When it comes to how those entities, how those people brought that into my life, the first and foremost way is through Medjugorje. As it is introduced to my life, I was really in the very beginning. I was introduced to Medjugorje before I was even baptized, because I was introduced in the womb. My mom, when she was still pregnant with me, crazy story, because it was right after 9/11 too. They were on like the first day of flights. After flights were opened back up after 9/11, they had the pilgrimage planned. It just so happened to work out they were going to get to go that day. They went on a pilgrimage there, my mother and my father. She climbed a mountain with me in the womb. And that was the first time, she offered my life up to God. And to this day, I still give thanks for that. Honestly, she could do anything to me at this point, my mom. And I would owe her everything. And so, that is the first introduction I really have, to the life of faith. And then, of course, it continues throughout the rest of my life. It defines everything. You guys know we talk so much about the kind of, how much I pray and what I pray, things like the rosary and how often I do the rosary. All comes from here. All comes from this incredible story. So, very, in brief description of just the history from the top to bottom. It starts in Bosnia-Herzegovina in 1981. And now, when you zoom out to the modern, to the present day, obviously, a lot has changed. It is a much different place. When you go to look at, pictures of major anniversaries, especially, but even now, when you look at pictures of Medjugorje, there are mass amounts of people there. It is a very different beginning of the story. Today, it is a church-approved apparition. The Catholic Church, a church consisting of 1.4 billion people, sponsors pilgrimages there, has given it its blessing, that it is... nothing contains heresy, and essentially you don't, within the perspective of the Catholic Church, this is real. And this happens. Everything going on here. But of course it wasn't always that way. The very beginning, that's something that needs to be confirmed, and so on and so forth. And even to an extent, that confirmation is a recent development for something that's been going on for 44 years now. So going all the way back to 1981, you just have like a group of kids in a random Bosnian village, in a communist country. It is a country that has been divided throughout the entirety of its history. Basically, there's been constant wars in the region because there are like 3 different ethnicities there that all hate each other. Like they literally, notably, regularly commit genocide against one another. Like they'll throw each other's babies off mountains, so on and so forth. Throughout the history of the region, very brutal. But a lot has changed. A lot has changed in that region, a lot due to this. So going to 1981 is when the visionaries first experience an apparition of the Blessed Virgin. And that happens on technically June 24th of 1981. But it's June 25th that they celebrate the anniversary because day one they ran away because they were scared. They weren't like super pious kids. They weren't super saintly kids, which is really the context that we've seen in every other Marian apparition. Going back to the beginning, with Medjugorje really being viewed as almost a New Testament to the Old Testament of every apparition that's led up. Whether you think about Fatima, whether you think about Lourdes, Guadalupe, so on and so forth. This is all, one big story, with Medjugorje being really the biggest splash we've ever seen. It is the longest lasting set of Marian apparitions. It is certainly the most impactful in terms of the amount of lives it has touched. But of course, again, none of that is at the start. You just start with this small group of kids, and immediately they don't know what they're doing, right? And a lot of people are on their case about it at the start. The church isn't sure what to think, and of course, the government hates it. Religion was very restricted at that time by the ruling regime in Bosnia. And over the beginning years of the apparitions, people are disappeared, people are hunted, priests are imprisoned. But at some point, one of the priests just hears a voice from God saying, "Protect the children." At a moment where the children are literally running away, they come up to the church. He's just heard this, and he hides them. And that begins the beginning of kind of the church interceding for these kids. The church, of course, gets persecuted. Like I said, people go to prison, people get disappeared, and are literally never seen from again. And then, but they persevere, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows. And eventually it gets so big that it gets international attention to the point where it can't really be put down anymore without it being like viewed as an international crime against humanity. So they're able to get away with it for a while. But then the region breaks out into war. Once the government collapses, there's war again in the region. There's a long period where all of this is going on while there's war going on, and a lady's constantly calling for praying of peace. There's so many stories there that we could, of course, go into any day. I could talk about this forever. Again, core to my personality. I know this up and down. It is one of, if we go over to my bookshelf of books that like are on the Bible level of my shelf, it's one of them. It's underneath. It's with the Catechism and the Bible. Bible, of course, on the top, but it's on that shelf. In terms of how integral it is to the person that I am, to how I see the world, so on and so forth. So once again, hopping back in. Continues all the way, eventually that war ends, and we get to kind of the period where we are today, where they are continuing, they are spreading, they're becoming more international. This is going to be the first year where there is a young adult festival for it in the United States called Mulata Fest. I will be streaming that because I will be there. I will be there in late July. I'll be going to that. I've been to Medjugorje myself in 2019. I went there right before COVID. I was like one of the last people to go before that hit. Yeah, I know, right? One of my friends just came back from there. The fruit of Medjugorje is really the next place to go. A lot of the big names, think of any priest you really know the name of. People like Donald Calloway, who made a massive splash with the Devotion to St. Joseph book that came out in the popular year of St. Joseph. You think of Father Dan Rehill. You think of, let's see. I think of my priest friend who just went there, my friend who's becoming a seminarian. And you will just hear over and over and over again, as you listen to priests talk, especially a lot of younger priests, a lot of them find out, especially about their vocation in Medjugorje. The Instagram account, Planting Grace, I posted that on my story recently. That's where he felt his vocation. He discovered his vocation to become a priest. But really, from the time of Christ unto today, we have so many means of bringing the love of God into the world, but first and foremost, the one to which he encourages us is prayer. And I think that's really what makes Medjugorje so essential to me and so important, is that we all have human plans. We all have ways in which we want to change the world and ways we want to make the world better. But at the end of the day, first and foremost, God is the one who's in control. God is the one is making the biggest difference. And first and foremost, it's all about being with God. When we are with God, everything flourishes. And when we walk away, we start to destroy the world. And so it's, that life of prayer, that connection between God, or between mankind and its creator, is what makes the world go forward. And so that's what first and foremost Medjugorje calls us to. Its four main messages are prayer, peace, fasting, and penance. So it's turning your life around. Fasting, very much a lost thing, especially in the West. Prayer, and of course peace. She is referred to as Our Lady of Peace as her primary title. And it, of course, has also touched the lives of many a pope. It has been around since, I think the first papacy, I think there's actually the pope before the John Pauls, so that'd be Pope St. John the 23rd, may have technically been around in the beginning. I forget when Pope St. John Paul II became pope, but he's the first one to have a massive interaction. So the very beginning days, the bishop of Medjugorje's area is favorable towards it. Then something comes out where he does something bad, and the visionaries and kind of say that it's not great, or say something about him that he doesn't like, or about one of his policies. I forget the exact detail. But he doesn't like that, so he starts to try and stomp it down, and he gets silenced by the Pope. So the Vatican comes in, steps into this tiny village, and tells this bishop, you need to stop saying that. You cannot, dismiss these out of hand. You can't just tell people not to come here because you don't like it, because it personally called you to be better. So that's Pope St. John Paul II. He meets many of the visionaries, all but one. He resolves to go there. Unfortunately, he passes before he gets the chance to, but he's very pro-Medjugorje. Pope Benedict comes, he's cautiously optimistic, very much in line for Pope Benedict. Pope Francis comes, he is initially skeptical, but eventually comes around. He's the person who is under his papacy, despite him being infamously saying his first impressions are I don't really like it. I don't feel like it makes sense to me that Our Lady would come every day. It doesn't seem like God or Our Lady. It's under his papacy that is first declared a pilgrimage site, and then it receives the Niels Orbstadt, which is we declare that there is no heresy in any of these things. We say that this is a good place for the faithful to go. It produces good fruit. You should absolutely schedule pilgrimages here. It's very much encouraged. Is a level that he brought it to. And now we have Pope Leo, who hasn't, is very new, hasn't said much about it, probably won't say much about it, but is one of the biggest places for especially the youth festivals. There are a lot of other central themes to Medjugorje, but the first and foremost is the relational, which is why it's been so important in my life, because while so much is that, the Catechism, for example, has done so much for my understanding of God. A lot of apologists have done so much for my ability to feel secure in the faith, theology, to understand it, the Gospels, to really, know it and know it in my heart, and to live the Gospels, of course, are everything. While we have all of these things, the thing that first and foremost made my prayer life, made me have a personal relationship with Jesus, was the Mother of God, and was the Mother of God through Medjugorje. And from the very beginning, we think of, we see stuff like this, whether it is Moses and Elijah talking to Jesus, whether it is Jesus appearing to St. Paul on the road to Damascus, Jesus telling the apostles the kind of stuff that they saw, including, for example, Moses and Elijah appearing to Jesus. Greater things than these are to come in the time that is coming, when the time of the Holy Spirit. And so all the way back to the early days, we have encounters with, and going back as well, we have encounters with angels and stuff in church history. God constantly sending people to converse with us, and sometimes God comes himself, of course, the Son of Man, and other times he sends other people. And I think, we've seen more so than anyone else in the time of the New Covenant, Our Lady, because, she signifies, we've talked about before, that which God cares about the most, which is us. We are the only thing that God loved more than his own life, enough to lay down his life for himself, is why everything was made. is so that he could share that experience. He could share with humanity. He could have people to have a relationship, to fall in love with, and to, you know, wrap up in this, you know, immense bear hug love affair that is the story of salvation. And among all of the human race, who means that to God, Our Lady is first and foremost. She is the one at the cross who represents a perfect yes to the love of God. She's the one who bears him into the world, who nurtures him. And she is the one who lives her life as a perfect disciple and is mother to the church. And as a woman especially, represents the heart of the church, represents the heart of faith. Which, you know, what is at the heart of faith? It's that relationship. What is a mother to a family? She is given to us as our mother. A mother is the one who first and foremost nurtures the kid and is always around, and is always personally there, is always present. Is the one who makes us feel loved, is the one who you know, guides us to the Father, is the one who is most knows and speaks to our heart. Knows, you know, talking about God here. God knows all these things. God could do all these things, but again, God created us because he wanted us to experience that, and he wanted us to have this beautiful relationship with each other as well. And so he sends our mother as this person, you know, this person who taught Jesus how to pray, to teach us how to pray in our present day, with all of our struggles, with all of our unique, you know, situations in the world that we live today, throughout the ages, every new era of you know, human existence. Our Lady comes again to teach us how to find God in this present day. Jesus gave us everything in the gospel. Jesus gave us everything in himself. We find everything of Jesus in the church, in the Eucharist. However, we do not always understand that. We do not, you know, I cannot pick up the Bible right now and tell you everything that God was trying to convey in those words. And so it's a constant progress through life of learning and falling in love with God. And so what Our Lady does by coming down from heaven is telling us, you know, is pointing to us things that we really need to know now and guiding us, helping us to walk through that. Being our sure guide, the morning star is one of my favorite examples, particularly because she takes it from Satan. Satan falls to earth. He's known as the morning star when he's in heaven, and then he falls and is taken away. And so the church gives that to Mary now because she takes his place. She represents Eve, the new Eve, crushing the head of the serpent. But first and foremost, you know, it's the personal thing. We'll come all the way full circle and end with that. The presence of Our Lady of Medjugorje in my life. I went through so much. I've been through addictions. I've been through so many physical, you know, physical illnesses. I've been through the head injury. I've been through so many things. My mom has been through so many illnesses. There's been a lot of periods in my life where she hasn't been able to be as present as she may have wanted to be. And so in comes Our Lady. Our Lady is the reason why I'm still here. Honestly, probably the reason I'm still alive. You know, I would tell myself I would never do that. But of course, by virtue of sinning, I could tell you that I've done things I've never thought I would ever do. You know, with all the things I've been through, I probably wouldn't be alive today if it was not through not for the Blessed Virgin Mary, particularly through just having that book, having those messages, understanding from the very beginning God not as someone who just like came once and really never wanted to be seen or heard from again, or who was very distant, but someone who really wanted to be present to me, someone who really wanted me to know, to make sure that I knew that he loves me, that like shaking me up when even I am not recognizing it, to know that he is there, to know that he wants to be heard, the willingness to send his mother every day to tell me that, and to pray for me and to pray with me. And, you know, it's through her that I've learned how to love and learned all these things that, you know, a son gets from their mother, and have all those things in my heart, just the sheer will to live and the love for life, the joy of life, and all of that comes through there. So, thank God for Medjugorje. I know Century, amen Century. Century is someone else who I only met through Medjugorje. We met at a great institution in Alabama named Caritas. I actually worked there for a while. We talk about people been through a lot. They went through their own thing in the U.S. side, kind of persecution, where they had to fight all sorts of legal battles over slander and so on and so forth. Totally won. They kicked all his ass, just like the Visionaries did. And eventually they're now on good terms with the bishop and stuff. But it's been a long road, so I'm thankful to all those people for making that happen. I met Century through that. That's why he's here. other people you know, people that have scarcely mentioned, like Kevin. It's a big part of that relationship with him. And so, yeah, thanks be to God for Medjugorje. Thank you to Our Lady. And thank you to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Please pray for us. Let's just see if I pick a random message what we got here before we go back. Kevin's the GOAT, man. Still want to get Dylan there someday. You know, I pick one of these every day. I don't post it to stream. Maybe I'll start doing that eventually. But for right now, we just got the verse of the day. Dear children, on October 2nd, 2011, for example. Dear children, also today my motherly heart calls you to prayer, to your personal relationship with God the Father, to the joy of prayer in Him. God the Father is not far away from you, and He is not unknown to you. He revealed Himself to you through my Son, and gave you life that is my Son. Therefore, my children, do not give in to temptations that want to separate you from God the Father. Pray. Do not attempt to have families and societies without Him. Pray. Pray that your hearts may be flooded by the goodness which comes only from my Son, who is sincere goodness. Only hearts filled with goodness can comprehend and accept God the Father. I will continue to lead you. In a special way, I implore you not to judge your shepherds. My children, are you forgetting that God the Father called them? Pray. Thank you. Maria. It's crazy. I always love when stuff like this happens because like there's so many. The book is giant. Like the book back there might be the biggest book I have, and that's like an earlier edition. So there's talk about so many things. It's crazy when you pick something like that. It's just like everything I just talked about. God is really cool. Amen. This want to point out, you know, we don't know how that bishop's story ended. God bless him. Thank him for all he did for Medjugorje too. Eternal rest grant to him, O Lord. May perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace. May God bless us all. Our Lady pray for us and continue to bless us and all that we do here. She's very much a patron of the channel. Been a massive part of that, of all of this process. Someone I pray to and with every day. Makes this happen. Amen. All right. Let's head back to Discord. I think what's next. All right, we are back.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about ants.
Hello.
Talking about ants.
Fuck them, dude.
Fuck ants.
I
What a
hate
transition.
mosquitoes.
I do hate
Mosquitoes.
There's
can
a
go
skeeter
die.
on my Peter, knock it off.
You should
There's
check
a
your
skeeter
reviewable
on my
content.
Peter,
Happy
knock
6
it off.
months.
You should check
Skeeter
your
on my
reviewable content tab.
My
Check the
reviewable
reviewable
content?
content.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
should
yeah.
check
You
I
should do
remember you
reviewable
sent
content.
something earlier that people were reacting to too.
I have to leave in like 8 minutes, so you should go to reviewable content.
Right now.
Oh my god. Oh, Federal, I'll answer it right now. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. That is amazing. What?
That was our
I-
Arctic phone.
How did I just now notice this shit? I'm like, why is there brown on his legs? And I look, oh, the flies. It's a nice touch.
That was Kaylin.
Oh, oh
Yeah, Caleb at
okay.
the bottom of that one. Caleb to the head.
Man queen? Bat queen? Man bat queen?
That's Patrick
Oh,
Starr's legs.
I appreciate that it's censored.
I censored it,
For the
don't worry.
Discord. Mall duck. I heart eggplants.
It's
Mallard.
mallard duck. Mallard
see.
duck.
Yeah.
Mallard duck.
Why does he look like Grimace?
All right.
Oh, Jay. Or no, that's from Gibbon. Balls in summer. Balls in winter. Too real, man.
thought that it
Too
was
real.
Jay.
I did think it was
I was
Jay.
dying.
We're all dying for the next few months. Immune to
my
mosquito
God.
bites, do not itch anymore. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe that just means they
Hit
got
the-
you.
Oh. When you hit that first link,
click
have
the
your
link,
audio
click
up.
the
It's
link.
important. It's a
Back
video.
to the Goodwill Journal, where I
So
read you
important.
entries from
You're gonna
this
love it.
journal I found at Goodwill. Now, this guy's name is Michael, if you haven't been following wrong. But we're going to talk about Michael's goals today. He had a lot. Starting with his goals: girlfriends, school. My goals are brand deal. I want to do this by the end of the summer. I want to have a brand deal and 100,000 followers. We are that close. And then our similar goals are buy a phone, get a job, and get a car. Please use the term unemployed very lightly in the comments. I take offense to it. Let me read you his very first entry. My name is Michael, born on blank. I returned from a full-time mission in blank on this last Monday, November 23rd, 2009. This week, I have been struggling
How
to
did
adjust to
these
the
end
change
up
from
in
being a
Goodwill?
missionary to a young single adult.
I don't know.
No.
I
But
set some goals to help me
the
keep
first,
a
like
little
the second
focus and
comment
to avoid wasting time.
on the right hand
which are
side.
apply in school, buy a phone,
OMG,
buy a car,
no.
and get a job. Followed by a few other goals, like get back into social links.
What are we
and
gonna
get a
find out
girlfriend.
about
I have
Michael?
some.
At
I
least
have
he
made
didn't give
some
his
good
nickname.
and some not so
Or I
good
mean his
steps
last
to
name,
reaching
so.
these goals. Today, I submitted my application for community college, and bought a phone. Tonight,
Heck yeah.
I went with my brother to a party, which happened to be very boring. What's up with him and hating on every party he goes to? On top of that, I was really quite awkward
Dude,
around everyone.
Real Housewives
I
of
don't know
Goodwill.
exactly
I want to
why,
do
but
this
I
now.
seem to have forgotten the
Real
things I did
Housewives of
before to really
Goodwill.
connect
Oh my
and build
God.
friendships.
God.
Michael, just enjoy the party. Just enjoy it. If
Each of you
haven't
should
followed
write in
along,
a
you
diary
definitely should.
and, like,
I've
make
been
up
reading
fake
these,
scenarios
like,
in
every
a
other
diary
day,
and then
like,
drop it off
funny
at a
dating
Goodwill.
stories and all of that written in this
Just
book.
write the most
Hello,
insane shit.
everybody, and
I should
welcome
come
back
up
to-
with like my own lore. Just create an entirely fictional person and
Exactly.
make a journal. Talk about how. Oh no, it's gonna be a murder mystery too.
Literally. Talk
The
about how you
body's
killed
hidden.
someone.
I hid the body at X place, and then I'll write Gibbons' address as to where I
Get outta
here. Go to Marshalls. They got the heat. Oh no. What am I looking at?
That's the Riz pumpkin.
The Riz pumpkin? That's like when I got
the
glasses.
Rumpkin.
Flashback to that picture.
We were looking at that picture while you were on.
No
You
way.
were.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe that should be the new profile picture. It'll be the profile picture for the official Jack of Clubs Tinder account.
Please.
Jack of Clubs Tinder account.
Oh no!
Oh,
Talk about
no.
another series. I should make like a fake Tinder account. It's like it's me, but it doesn't have like the right information, and we just like swipe on stream
Yeah.
as Jack. Just found out about periods. How could God do this to her? I love he's just a full-grown man, just finding out.
The
I wish
fog
that's when they
mountains
found
in the
out.
background are crazy.
What is this, Kaylin? What ungodly thing
Oh.
did you just send me?
Dude,
I
I
hate
can't.
it.
I can't watch this.
He looks like a cool friend.
I hate it.
What?
It gave me heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, like I'm okay with spiders as long as they're not jumpers. Jumpers kind of scare
You
me because
say
of
that-
respect.
Well,
I like spiders, bro.
Kayla said it was. She said it was AI earlier, and
It's
like
AI.
there
It looks
is
like
an actual
AI.
type of spider that looks like
This
that. By
AI.
the way,
Okay, so what's
It's like
based
those
on
spiders in
something?
Australia that have.
We already
that are the
played
size of a dinner
Minecraft
plate.
Strider. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Shampoo, no thanks. I prefer shampiss. Only pigs, man. I want a pet spider too, though. I want a pet spider
Ew.
someday. Pet spider is
Tarantula
Oh,
is
pussy.
you
not in
mentioned
my
you mentioned
future.
your chickens, so
Oh yes,
you
they're
should-
coming in
you
August.
should dye them.
I should dye my chickens.
Yeah.
I'm not getting them as chicks, so dyeing adults might be a little bit hard. But this is, I see.
Today, I'm going to be dyeing a chicken.
Can I get
This
eggs
is
when you get your
McChicken,
chickens?
and yes,
Absolutely.
she is a chicken,
What sounds
not
like
a
$3 a
rooster.
dozen?
And today, she's getting a
Oh,
full
fuck yeah.
makeover using Pet Safe Dye by Opaz. I'm a dog groomer, so I'm not sure how I ended up painting a chicken,
beautiful.
but I'm
is
here for it, and this
beautiful.
might be one of the
Pretty
coolest things
Look,
I've ever
if
done.
anyone
As many
wants-
of you guys know, I am a
Wants to
creative
ladies are
dog
gonna
Maybe
groomer,
it can
and
be
I've
a
also
goal.
done
Maybe a goal
horses
can be
and
I paint a
groomed
chicken.
bunnies. So when my pet sitter reached out to me
You
and
just have
said,
to make sure
"Hey,
you
would
have like
wanna dye
animal
my
friendly
chicken?"
dye.
I said absolutely.
Right.
What else
Gonna
was
throw
I supposed
paint
to
on
say?
them.
I was
Just
really
like
nervous
fucking
about
Sherwin. We're gonna go to Sherwin
down,
Williams get
very
that
stressed.
fucking
But
house
luckily,
paint.
she loves being
Just
handled
start
and
Yeah.
helped
Get a
her. She's
gallon
amazing
jug of
for
paint.
this
Just dip 'em in there.
She
Just
looks
dip 'em.
absolutely beautiful. What animal
I
should
also
I dye
request
next?
you poke tiny
Today,
holes in
I'm
pumpkins
gonna be
and then
dyeing
let the
a
chickens
chicken.
carve the pumpkins.
This is McChicken.
That
and
sounds
yes,
amazing.
She is a chicken.
That
not
sounds like
a
a
Oh, we
great
should-
idea for
You
Halloween
should
this
do a
year.
live cam for stream.
Can
We
we,
can do-
So Tim
we
Tim
can
Cast
try.
has Chicken
live
City.
cam chickens.
We
Chicken
could-
live cam.
I will try. It's a hard thing to do, but if we'll need to set a goal. We'll need to raise money for it, but we can make it happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, Starbucks, but I think I'll take a fat steaming shit at Chick-fil-A. Okay. All right then. Dude, I need some Chick-fil-A right now. Do it. Oh, Starbucks just updated their menu, by the way, to get rid of all like their dyes and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Starbucks. We love Starbucks.
California came out
General
and they
Mills.
did a ban on red 40 dye. So no food
Thank
in
you.
I
California.
think it's national
anymore.
now. I think it's national now.
Oh, I didn't. Sweet.
Thank you, RFK.
Hmm.
Thank you. RFK. Yeah.
You like
this
the watermelon
baby,
child?
I want to be him. Maybe 1 year anniversary.
I wanna be him. Happy Halloween.
So when I do something I've always wanted to do, I have this giant pond and I have 2 canoes in my backyard. I really want to do like, and I have a bunch of foam swords when I was a kid. So I want to do like, I want to do a naval battle with canoes in my backyard. I feel like that'd be a fun stream. I need to get. It's not me. It's talk to people like Gibbon and stuff. You guys want to see that happen? You gotta talk them into it. Gibbon. I think it is kind of gay. I think you're right about that. That would be accurate. Minecraft mobs mental illness.
I'm confused
When
on
is
why
the
the
cutoff?
fox's mental illness.
I think it's
I
just
think it's all the
a
new.
cutoff
I think
date.
it's all the new.
It's all the new
mobs.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imperial Guard of the Watermelon District, Sentry says. Amazing.
Okay. Do y'all mind if I go piss real quick? I gotta get another drink and go piss.
I do
You're all
not.
good.
I will
I
look
gotta
at the
go.
Snorlax and then have a good night, Hales. Thank you so much for
What are
coming
we
out.
playing next?
Thank you,
before I
thank you.
go?
Have a good night.
Bye,
we'll
Hales.
find out when you get back.
Check the poll, Gibbon. You made a poll.
Well, we're ending
Where's the
with
poll?
Crusader Kings, but we're gonna do something before then.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sandals.
Hello, Sandals.
He's back from the
Sandals,
wedding.
sandals,
Maybe we
sandals,
should do
sandals.
Jackbox so he can play because he can
Wow.
play it on his phone.
Every. Oh, bye, Hales.
She was leaving anyway. Not
Oh,
you.
okay.
Mhm.
I'm back from the wedding.
How was the
Snorlax
wedding?
did never give up.
It was very nice. We had a great time.
Did they kiss?
Many times.